All right, so for this practice, so we're not going to do Titibhasana because Titibhasana is too complex as a I wouldn't put that in a Hatha class. It's too kind of weight bearing and bizarre and wonderful, but we will do Hanumanasana. So what that means to me is hip opener class, right? Yummy hip openers. Because Hanumanasana, when we do it fully, is not just a hamstring opener, it's also a hip flexor opener. So it's both because your legs are out like this. So I'm just thinking, let's have a nice hip opening class today. I was creating, as part of my massage project or my massage school, I had to create a marketing plan, which was hilarious because I'm just going to do it for fun, really. But it was really cool, but it made me think about why massage, like to, promote ourselves to people or to say, this is why I believe it's good. And I was thinking about it for myself. And one of the things that was really clear to me, it's like, I've personally experienced anxiety. I tend to be an anxious kind of like Weimaraner kind of energy, like that's kind of where I go, and I've also been really depressed. Like I've gone through a couple of major depressions in my life and felt all of those waves. And for me, it's so easy to get caught up in the stories of my mind and to really get trapped there. And so the yoga practice has become so important to me. And this is why massage is also another tool we can use, because it brings people really into their bodies. And when we're in our body, we have more room from all of the stories. And there's also a sense of grounding and safety that can come where I go, oh, I'm here, like I'm here. And through that reclamation, we can find more space for ourselves, and we can find a greater sense of okayness and wholeness, even when things feel crazy. But it gets us out of riding the crazy train. We can watch the crazy train and not jump on it or cling to it so much. So that's really that's why the practice is so beautiful. And so that's the invitation today. And hip openers are in the yoga practice. Hip openers are classically kind of like, not classically according to our kind of new aginess, but they really address things like emotional feeling and being. And also down into our legs, addresses fundamentals, a sense of safety and connectedness and groundedness. And so I love hip openers for this reason, because I feel like they can really anchor us into something which is material and earthy. So that's what we're going to do today. So I do have a playlist pulled up for us. So if you want to listen, I will pop it into the chat right now. Okay. So if you're using that or your own playlist, go ahead and get it started. And then we're going to come into child's pose. And in child's pose, I love this pose because it's just for us. So we can relax the face, relax the jaw, relax your shoulders, and begin to demask, which is an invitation to let go of the kind of expressions we need to wear out in the world, and let those go, those kind of habitual controls, so that we can just really soften into what is and be here just for ourselves. This is just for you. Let your head rest on something, whether it's your hands or your block. Make a transition from thinking into feeling. With every exhale, allow your body to become heavier, more grounded, more settled. And take 3 more deep breaths. And after the end of your last breath, bring your elbows forward a little bit. Plant your elbows down onto the floor. You can interlace your hands with your knees right under your hips and start to take some nice, yummy hip circles. It's like kind of going around the clock with your pelvis. Nice and slow. And then take your circle the other way. Coming on back to center. Go ahead, slide your hands back. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, and then press the hands into the earth just to have a greater connection with something solid. As you inhale, draw your heart forward and through. And then as you exhale, tailbone down and round your spine. I'll invite you today to move slowly. It's in the slowing down that we start to connect to the rhythm of our body rather than of our mind. Our mind tends to move really fast. And to really feel what's happening in our body requires us to create just a little bit more space, to stretch time out a little bit so that we can connect to what we're really feeling. And for the next minute or so, I want to invite you to move in any way that feels good to your body. So that could be cat-cow, but it might be something else. It might be down dog, it might be child's pose. Welcome, Melinda, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Yeah. So that we practice fortifying this connection with our own inner voice. And then at some point in the next 5 breaths or so, make your way into down dog. And I'd also like to caveat the practice today by saying that you can make the practice what you need it to be. So if you feel like, I just need to lay in Shavasana or take child's pose, that today we have space for that. And then down dog, you can continue to let your body explore this shape in a way that feels right for you. And bring those parts of the body that feel a little cloudy or disconnected, give them a little bit more attention. And then nice and slowly start to walk your feet towards your hands. Place your feet a little wider than hip distance. Soften your knees. And with your fingertips touching the floor, if you can, let your upper body release and take a little sway. So like you're making a little circle around with your hips so that the weight moves into your toes, to the left side, to the back of your heels, to the right side. Maybe take that into the opposite direction so the soles of the feet start to wake up. And we begin to feel our weight a little bit more in gravity. And coming back to center, spreading the feet into the earth, soften your knees. Again, slowly, a little slower than we usually would, start to roll up through your spine. Actively, as much as this sounds funny, actively release your arms, actively release your head. Take your time. Beautiful. Let the shoulders draw up, back, and down. Move down through the feet. Take a slow breath in. Exhale out. As you inhale, sweep the arms wide and up. And this time, as you exhale, drag the hands down the central line of the body. So press the palms into Anjali Mudra. Drag the hands through the center line as you forward fold. It's a way of drawing energy into us. As you inhale, halfway lift and open your chest. Just forward fold here as you exhale and let your head go. As you inhale, rise all the way up. Take the arms nice and wide. As you exhale, hands down the center line to the heart center. It's like a gesture of receiving. Inhale, take the arms wide and up. Beth, you're all good. Just hang out there. Exhale, forward fold over your legs, hands through the center. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Rising up, take the arms wide, reach up, stretch up. Tadasana, but bring the hands together back to the heart. It's like pulling whatever we need towards us. Inhale, arms nice and wide and up. Touch the palms, bring them through the heart center as you forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, fold in. As you inhale, reach the arms up, 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 reach up, stretch up. Palms touch, bring the hands back down to the heart. Good. One more time on your own, just nice and simple. So in my world, this is called a moon salutation rather than a sun salutation, where we invite a different energy rather than the sun energy of expression and moving outwards. We invite the moon energy, which is inviting in to receive. Beautiful. And after you've finished that cycle, just hang out for a moment with your hands at your heart. Take a slow breath in and exhale out. Inhale, take the arms wide and all the way up. Exhale, hands through the heart center, forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, step the left leg back, lightly lower your back knee down. Hands to blocks or to the floor. Let's drop the hips forward, keep the hands down. Open the chest so it's a low lunge. And as you exhale, slide the hips back. You don't have to straighten the leg, but just a kind of soft version of Ardha Hanumanasana. And then move between those two shapes with the breath. You inhale, you're in your low lunge. And as you exhale, pull the hips back. The next time you come forward, stay forward. Curl your back toes under, float your left knee up, plant your hands. Inhale, step back into a high plank position. Always option here to lower your knees down. As you inhale, feel your chest lift a little bit. Keep your chest wide as you exhale and lower all the way down to the floor. Take your fingers wide onto your mat. Perch onto your fingertips, lengthen your tailbone towards your heels, and then pull your heart forward and up for finger stand cobra. I just love this version because we get a little bit more space under our armpits. And I want to invite you here to move in a way that feels good. So you could just stay in this back bend, but you might like to drop a shoulder forward or roll them around, shift yourself from side to side. And after your next exhale, let the exhale bring you back down to the earth. Plant your hands under your shoulders. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Soften the knees to pull the hips back. Nice and easy, stretch the left leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, step the left foot forward, lower the back knee down. And again, we'll let the hips drop forward, open the chest, low lunge. Then as you exhale, slide the hips back. Add a little bit more richness to your breath. Let the breath carry the movement of your body. And the next time you come forward, stay forward, plant the hands, lift your back knee. Walk the fingertips forward a little bit and then step back forward to the front of your mat. Halfway lift as you inhale. And as you exhale, release your head and fold in. Press through the feet, take the arms wide, reach up, stretch up. Hands down through the heart center, Tadasana, pull it all in. Inhaling in, taking the arms wide and up. Soften your knees, hands through the heart center, forward fold. Inhaling in, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, step your right foot back and lightly lower your back knee down. So the left foot is forward. Fingertips to the floor. As you inhale, open the chest, forward and up. As you exhale, squeeze the inner thighs just a little as you slide the hips back. And then continue to flow at your pace. Move slow enough to feel. Next time you come forward, plant your hands, float your back knee up, step back into plank pose. Inhale in plank, exhale, lower all the way down. Again, fingers wide, anchor the pelvis, finger stand cobra. Pulling your heart forward and up and then exploring this shape. Starting to find a little bit more space and freedom in your chest, sides of your waist, upper back. On your next exhale, come back down to the earth, plant your hands, press up and back, downward facing dog. This time, stretch your right leg up and back behind you. As you exhale, step the right foot up by your right thumb, lightly lower your back knee down to the floor, fingertips down, inhale, sink your hips, open your chest, low lunge. Exhale, squeeze and slide the hips back. Hanumanasana. Next time you come forward, plant the fingertips, float the back knee, walk the hands forward just a bit more, and then step forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold, release your head. Rising up, take the arms wide, reach up, stretch up. As you exhale, palms together, bring the hands down the center line into your heart. Take a slow breath here. Exhale out. Bend your knees, sink your hips back and down. Float your fingertips forward, and then separate the hands, like make some cactus arms here. Float the fingers back just a little bit. We're just gonna move into the upper back a little bit. So kitty cat claw the air with your hands. Pull down through the elbows and slightly back as you start to pull the heart more forward and up. So feel the shoulder blades slide down your back, and then the bottom little tips of the shoulder blades almost like moving in to your back body, like little lifts. Yeah. And sink into your heels just a tiny bit more. Take a big breath into your chest. Sink as you exhale. As you inhale, stretch the arms, Utkatasana, and then exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, step the left leg way back behind you. Turn your back heel on its side, line up front heel to back arch. As you inhale, rise up, warrior two, and sink into your front thigh. Wrap the right sitting bone down towards the floor as you press your left thigh straight and stretch through your arms. Interlace your hands behind your back. Draw the shoulders back. Pause. Look at your front knee. Keep your knee over your ankle, but turn your rib cage towards the left foot. So we're just adding a little twist here to the torso. Soften the elbows. Draw the upper arm bones back to lift your heart. Float the arms nice and long, stretch them out. Take the left fingertips to your back thigh. Take your right arm up. Wow, nice big stretch into goddess or reverse warrior. And then straighten your right leg. Press into the big toe mound of your right foot. Just straighten your leg and then shift the hips back and bring your right fingertips either onto your shin or to a block outside your front ankle and float the top arm up. Trikonasana. Scoop your tailbone just a little bit more towards the back leg. As you press into the right big toe mound, pull the right hip crease a little bit more deeply in. Take one more breath. Look down, bend your front knee, take the left hand down to the floor, press the palms down, step back into downward facing dog. Bend the knees just a little bit, pull the tops of your thigh bones up and back. As you inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Square the hips. As you exhale, step the left foot all the way up between your hands and turn your back heel down. Press into your front heel, rise up, warrior two. And then sink down into your legs. Now, interlace your hands the opposite way behind your back. Look at your front knee for a moment. So we can really keep the knee there, but then turn the rib cage towards your back thigh, finding a little bit more twist in the torso. Soften the elbows, draw the upper arm bones back. Good, release your arms. Take the right fingertips to your back thigh. Take your top arm up, bend a little bit deeper into your left knee. Enjoy a big side stretch here. And then press the left big toe mound down as you start to stretch your left thigh straight. And now let's sweep the left arm forward, shift the hips back, Trikonasana. Take the fingertips either onto your shin or to the floor. Draw the belly and take the top arm up, and then lengthen your tailbone a little bit more towards your back heel. So you can smooth the front ribs in and then take the top shoulder back. So use the strength of your legs here to find a little more space for your heart to open. Inhale, look down, bend your front knee, take your fingertips down to the floor, turn your back heel up this time. Walk the fingertips forward and step forward to the front of your mat. As you inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, fold into the legs, and let's stay here. So Uttanasana, grab onto the toes. We never do this version of Uttanasana. Grab onto your toes with yogic toe locks. That means wrap your index and middle finger around your toe and then actually make a circle. So you grab onto the full toe. Yeah. Now bend your knees as much as you need to. Take your elbows a little wider, create some space. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Good. Yeah, and then keep that, release your head and slowly start to stretch your legs towards straight. That's it. Relax the back of your neck, relax your jaw. Melinda, that is it. That was just the subtle adjustment I was looking for. Beautiful. Bring a little bit more weight into your toes. And then as you press through your heels, lift the backs of your thighs up. Good. One more breath. Exhale out. As you inhale, keep the toe lock halfway lift. As you exhale, bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms wide and up, join the palms. Exhale, drag the hands down through the center line of your heart, forward fold over your legs. Inhaling in, halfway lift. This time, step your right foot back. Place your feet hip distance apart and parallel and climb up onto your front thigh for high lunge. Hug the outer hips and lift through the navel and then sit down just a bit more. So we're really finding here this yummy stretch for the back thigh. Squeeze your glute just a little bit more. Lift your pubic bone up as you stretch the back leg towards straight. Woof. Float the arms up. And in this one, we're just going to get longer through the sides of the waist. So almost as if your thumbs could connect back to like you have these two little eyelets or hooks right at the top of your sacrum. So as you stretch your thumbs up, get a little bit more lifted out of your lower back. One more breath. This time as you exhale, hinge forward, bring your right fingertips to the floor. Lengthen your spine forward. And then as you exhale from the rib cage, twist to the left, take your top arm up. Draw the left shoulder blade a little bit more toward your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Now just bring a little bit more attention to the back foot. Feel the ball of your foot really pressing into the floor. So spread the back foot into the floor and use that connection to the earth to find more lift through your back leg. On your next exhale, bring the fingertips down towards the floor. Step back into plank. As you exhale, lower all the way down. Fingers wide again, finger stand cobra. Curl yourself up, draw the shoulders back. Maybe finding a little bit more depth or opening or expression here now that we've done this a couple times. And then as you exhale, bring yourself down, place the hands, press up and back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, take the right leg up towards the sky. As you exhale, step the right foot up by your right thumb. Place your feet hip distance apart and parallel, climb up onto your front thigh for high lunge. And then bend the back knee, settle down into your legs. Hug the outer hips and lift the pubic bone up just a tiny bit. And then give your left glute a little squeeze and then start to stretch your back thigh towards straight. Soften your front ribs in just a tiny bit more so you feel the expanse of your back body and then reach your arms up. Soften your face and your lips. Let's take one more breath. As you exhale, hinge forward, take your left fingertips down onto the floor underneath your left shoulder. Lengthen your spine, turn your chest open to the right, take your top arm up. And then reconnect to the back foot and the power of your toes. Press the ball of the foot and the pinky side of the foot into the floor so you really feel that connection. And then use that to lift the inner and the outer thigh of the back leg up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bring your fingertips back down towards the floor. Press down through the hands and then step back into downward facing dog. All the way back. Press into the hands, bend the knees, pull the thighs back. And we want this, the intention for this is a resting pose. So option here to lower the knees down and to come into extended child's pose. And smooth out your breath. Take an exhale through your mouth. From downward facing dog, inhale, take the right leg up. This time, open your hips. You get a nice stretch through the inside of your leg, and then bend your right knee. Drop your right heel towards your bum. As you wrap your arms in, especially the right arm, squeeze the upper arms together so your torso is still facing down, but then turn your pelvis open. As you exhale, take that foot right back down to downward facing dog. Take the left leg up towards the sky. Open the hip again. Squeeze the left arm in this time. Point your knee up towards the sky. Bend your knee. Press into the big toe mound of your right foot. Pull your outer right hip back and in. And then go ahead and bring the left foot back down, downward facing dog. Float the right leg up. Open the hip. As you exhale, step the right foot up between your hands. Turn your back heel on its side. Line up heel to arch. Rise up, warrior two. Bend your front knee. Take your right fingertips to the outside of your pinky toe. Walk your back foot in a little bit. Pause. Actively pull the outer right hip back and in. Walk your right hand a little bit more forward and then stand into Ardha Chandrasana. So bend your right knee, pull the right hip back and stretch through the top leg. Good. Option one, stay here. Option two, bend your top knee. You could bring your top knee into your belly if you want. Hold on to the foot and take a thigh stretch. The other option, if you just want to do the thigh stretch and you can't grab your foot, is just to bend the top leg. Yes, that's it. And then as you kick your foot into your hand, let that bring your top shoulder back. Good. So Charlie, keep turning your chest open to the left. Yeah. Good. If you've got your foot, nice, Connie, good way to fight for it. Release the top leg. Ardha Chandrasana. Bend your right knee, step all the way back towards the back of your mat. Plant your hands down, back to downward facing dog. Inhaling in, take your left leg up, open your left hip. Step the left foot all the way up between your palms, turn your back heel on its side, warrior two. Come on up. From warrior two, go ahead and bring your fingertips onto the floor to the outside of your foot. Walk your back foot in so you can really feel more grounded through your standing leg. And then move your hand quite forward. Pour the weight into your left foot, float your right leg up. And then you can keep your gaze down for balance. Keep a little bend in your left knee for balance. Option one, stay right here. Or bend the knee, hold on to the shin or the ankle, and then take the top thigh straight back. Use the foot to open the chest. So if you're not holding onto that foot, just take the top arm up, draw the shoulder back, kick the toes back. One more breath. Release the foot if you have it. Good. Bend your left knee, take the right leg way back to a warrior two stance, but then both hands to the floor. Inhale, step back into plank. Exhale all the way down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Stretch your toes back and press the tops of your feet firmly down onto the floor. So I want you to almost feel like you're, for a moment, actually try this. Pull your toes, press the tops of your feet into the floor so you create a space underneath your ankle. So it's like you're beaming your heels backwards. So the tops of the feet become quite active into the floor. Keep that activation through your feet. Lengthen your tailbone towards the heels, right? So it's almost like you're creating a little engagement between the heels and the tailbone. And then lift your shoulders straight up. Engage your core as you inhale and lift your chest. Shalabhasana. Bend the elbows a little bit. Draw the upper arm bones back and lift your heart. Drop your chin slightly. And then without losing any of the engagement through your feet and your legs, lift your legs up. Pull the heart forward as you send your legs back. One more breath. And then exhale, lower down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press up and back to extended child's pose for a couple of breaths to iron out the spine. Let the head go.
Okay, press into your palms. Rise up, downward facing dog. Look forward, slowly walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat. Place your feet hip distance apart. As you inhale, lift halfway up. As you exhale, fold in. Press down through your feet, take your arms wide again. Palms touch at the top, bring the hands down through the center of your heart. Bend your knees, sit nice and low, chair pose. Reach your arms forward again, make your little cactus arms, bring the fingertips back, pull the elbows down. Now come onto your left big toe, your left toes. So lift your left heel up so the weight moves more into the left foot. And then go ahead and hover the left foot off the floor. From here, hinge forward, begin to send the left leg back behind you. Variation of Virabhadrasana 3. And then step all the way back into a high lunge. Release your arms. Interlace your hands behind you. Shift your chest forward just a tiny bit, then sit down into your legs. Now, press the big toe mound down a lot. Because I've tilted the pelvis or the torso forward, you can straighten the back leg fully. So really activate it, right? And then with the hands interlaced, use the hands, draw the shoulders back. So try to pull the hands apart and then pull the heart more forward and up. And come into a little baby back bend here in high lunge. Sink down into your legs, lift forward and up with your chest. And as you press the back big toe mound into the floor, use that to move your heart more forward and up. As you inhale, release your arms, float them up. As you exhale, bring your fingertips down to the floor or to your blocks. Step your back foot forward and to the left just slightly so that you can turn your left toes to the front left corner of your mat. Bend your right knee a bit. As you press into the big toe mound of your right foot, pull the outer right hip back and in for Parsvottanasana. For me, I like to be high up onto my blocks here. Give the inner thighs a little squeeze. You can keep some softness in your front knee. As you inhale, draw your chest forward. And then as you exhale, forward fold. Bring a little bit more weight forward into the front leg. Usually we need to shift the weight forward and then tuck the outer right hip back and in. Connect to your breath. Take one more breath here. As you inhale, lift your chest up. Bend your right knee, shift forward. Walk your blocks forward or fingertips forward just a little bit. Keep your little bend into your right knee and then float your left leg up for more of an official Virabhadrasana 3. So as you press your right heel down, pull the outer right hip up like towards the ceiling. Pull the core in. You can stay here with your hands on the floor or bring your hands together into your heart space or take your arms out to the side. One more breath. And then everybody lower the top foot down, soften your knees, forward fold. Maybe give yourself a little shake. Blow through the lips. Bring your hands to your hips. Reach your heart forward and up. And then for a moment, settle Tadasana. Fingertips can release towards the floor. Bend your knees, sit down. Float your arms forward. Cactus your arms again, fingertips up. Hug the shoulder blades together. Pour the weight now onto your left foot. Lift your right heel up. So we start to feel the connection of the left foot into the floor. Keep that as you float your right foot up. Wobbling is okay. Gather your core. Begin to kick the right hip back. Reach your chest forward, forward, forward like a warrior 3, and then step all the way back, high lunge. Let the arms float up for a moment just to create some space. And then sweep the arms back behind you. Interlace the hands the opposite way. Hinge forward with your torso. So your sitting bones are moving more on a diagonal. And now first connect to the back leg. So press the big toe mound down, press the pinky toe mound down, and feel how you can really fire up the leg towards straight. Right? Draw the low belly in with the hands interlaced now. Lift and roll the shoulders away from your ears. And as the hands pull back towards your back heel, move your heart more forward up and through. Pull your bottom ribs in just a tiny bit, and then draw the shoulders back to create more space for your chest. Power through your back leg. Activate the back leg to lift your heart. One more breath. Float the arms up as you inhale. As you exhale, take the hands down to your blocks or to the floor again. Move your right foot forward this time, just a little bit. Turn your right toes to the top right corner of your mat and bend your left knee for a sec. Bend your left knee to create some slack, and then press down and forward through your left big toe mound as you pull your outer left hip back and in. It's almost like I want to imagine that you're squeezing your sitting bones slightly towards each other. As you inhale now, grow the spine long out of the pelvis. And as you exhale, start to forward fold, Parsvottanasana. Slow your breath. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine, bend your left knee, walk your blocks forward, float the right leg up, Virabhadrasana 3. So you can bend your left knee a tiny bit, pull the outer left hip up towards the sky, and then kick back through your right leg nice and strong. Pull your heart forward. You can stay here, bring the hands to your heart, take the hands out to the side. One more breath. And as you exhale, lower the right foot down. Let it go. Bring your hands to your hips. Reach your heart forward. Come all the way up to stand. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Inhaling in, take the arms all the way up towards the sky. Palms to touch, drag them down through the central line of your body. Inhaling in, halfway lift, plant your hands, exhale, step all the way back to downward facing dog. Inhaling in, lift the right leg up, keep your hips square. And as you exhale, step the right foot up by your right thumb, lightly lower the back knee down. Now take your left hand way off the mat, out to the side. Like if there's a clock in front of you, you're taking it to like 10 o'clock, right? And then lean into that hand a little bit and bring your right hand to your right thigh. Now, pay attention to this left shoulder. It's going to want to drop forward. So instead, I want you to pull the shoulder blade a little bit more down your back and then scoop it underneath you, right? So we have a feeling here now of opening. Take your top arm up, start to sink your hips forward. Option 1, stay right here. Option 2, back out of the pose a little bit, bend your back knee, and then windmill the right arm back to hold on to the inside or the outside of the foot. Whichever version you have, draw the top shoulder back more. Yummy thigh stretch. Squeeze your left glute a little bit and then sink your hips forward. Roll the shoulders back. Give your left glute a little squeeze. Oh. One more breath. Good. Shift your hips back just a little to create some slack. Lower the back shin down and bring your right fingertips down to the floor. Okay, so you may want to bring your hands on blocks for this one. What I'm going to do is press my hands down so that I can then bring my right knee by my right ankle. My right heel is underneath my left hip. So this is like a pigeon setup. So my front shin's at a 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to curl my back toes under and walk my back toes back just a tiny bit. Bring your hands back on the blocks to either side of your hip. Squeeze your inner thighs and lift up. Right, now I want you to connect a little bit more to the back foot. Dig the back big toe mound into the floor. Lift your back knee, bring your knee a little bit more towards the right side of your mat and then place it back down. So the back leg is super engaged. Your knee is down, but your toes are curled under. Now squeeze in through your inner thighs. Lift the pubic bone up. and draw the shoulders back and down. So if you feel any compression in your low back, hinge forward a little bit to take the curve out of your low back, and now work to draw the shoulders back and pull the heart more forward and up. Upright pigeon. Option 1, squeeze your legs together. You can stay right here, or you can float your hands. You can also kitty cat, claw your arms like a little cactus and pull your heart more forward and up. Use the power of your legs to find more lift and opening through the sides of your waist. Keep squeezing your legs together as you bring your hands back down towards your blocks, towards the floor. And once you got your hands grounded, push more through your hands so that you can find some lift. Step back into down dog and kind of give yourself a little shake. Let it go. Keeping your hips square, reach the left leg up. As you exhale, step the left foot up by your left thumb, lower your right knee down. Take your right hand now, Anjaneyasana, out to the side, so it's like at 2 o'clock, right? And then lean into that hand and take your left hand onto your thigh. Start just with the shoulders, roll the right shoulder back and down, and then turn your rib cage open towards the left side of your mat. And then keeping that, give your glutes a little squeeze, hug the inner thighs, start to sink your pelvis forward to open the hip flexor. You can stay right here, float the top arm up, or bend the back knee. You don't have to grab it, but you could reach back, hold on to either the inside or the outside of your foot. Now, whatever grasp you have, draw the left shoulder back. Soften your lips and your eyes. Draw the shoulders back. Squeeze your right glute just a tiny bit. Open your chest and take one more breath. Shift your hips back a little bit to create some slack. Release the back foot, fingertips to the floor. Option to bring your hands onto blocks. So I press my hands into the floor so that I can lift my left foot off the floor and place my shin back down. And place your shin up by your left wrist and angle your shin so that the heel is underneath your opposite hip point. And then walk the back toes back just a little bit. Dig the back toes into the floor, lift the back thigh up. Move your right knee more towards the midline so your outer right hip can draw forward, right? Press down through your shin in your hands. You can walk the blocks back. Press the top of your front foot down so you get a little bit more lift. Now, any compression in your low back, I want you to hinge forward a little bit, lengthen the tailbone, and work from there. Otherwise, the tailbone is strongly rooting down, lifting up out of the legs, and then start to draw the shoulders back. As you draw the shoulders back, in opposition, move the ribs forward and up. Upright pigeon pose. Option 1, you can stay here. You can kitty cat the arms and float them. Really use the big toe mound of the back leg to find more support and stability here. One more breath. Nice and stable. Bring the hands forward onto your blocks or to the floor. Then once the hands are down, press through the hands to de-weight the leg. Step back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees down. Bring the toes together, the knees a little bit apart. And I'll give you guys the choice here, Supta Virasana or saddle pose. So for saddle pose, the toes are together, the knees are a little wider, and then we start to move back and stretch the quads. For Supta Virasana, my heels are outside of my hips. So I find for myself, I don't love sitting in this pose upright, but when I do this and I start to hinge back, it actually becomes more accessible. So if you don't feel tension through your knees, you might be able to try this version. The thighs are parallel, my heels are outside my hips, my thighs are slightly internally rotating, and then I walk back. Same thing, stretch to the tops of your thighs. And guys, just depending on the shape of your body and your flexibility, you might come down onto your forearms. Rather than letting it go into a back bend here, smooth the front waistline in. So pull the pubic bone, pull the hip points up towards your ribs, and try to contain the space in the front of your body. And you also have the option to lay down, but if you lay down, don't go to sleep, right? Keep stretching through the legs, give the glutes a little bit of a squeeze, and actively work to pull the pubic bone up to the navel. Then you can cross the arms, Reach the arms overhead. So even though we're like on the floor, we're still active, working to find more length with every breath. If you're all the way back, change the crossing of your arms. One more breath here, everyone. And go ahead and bring your hands by your sides. See if you can lift from your chest, whoa, to come all the way up. Come forward onto your hands and to your knees and take some nice stretches for the backs of your knees here. Oh, just feel that nice little blood rush. All right, press the hands down, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Square the hips. As you inhale, take the right leg up. As you exhale, step the right foot up between your hands. Place the back knee down. Come onto your block. So moving into full Hanumanasana, right? So first, squeeze the inner thighs together a little bit from here. And just notice that that creates a feeling of lift and support from your inner thighs. So we want to keep that. So in full Hanumanasana, rather than forward folding here, eventually I'm actually going to work my torso straight up. So what we're going to do here is start to walk the blocks back, squeeze your inner thighs, shift your hips back. Now, if you notice right away that you don't have a lot of room behind you on your mat, then come back forward and walk your front foot a little bit more forward right from here. So it's at the front of your mat. Squeeze the inner legs, slide your hips back, flex the front foot. Now in Ardha Hanumanasana, I want you to take a look at your foot first and make sure that it's not sickling, right? So you want to press through the ball of your foot so the front of the foot is even, right? And then from there, dig your heel down and pull back. So you're actually going to bend the front knee slightly because you're using the hamstrings, right? From there, walk the blocks back a little bit more so you have support for your body weight, and then begin to walk the back foot back, right? It doesn't need to go far. Keep your back toes curled under. And then press the feet and the front heel into the floor to feel a little bit more lift and walk your hands back. So I'm working to lift my pelvis up and to lengthen my sitting bones down. So then depending on your body, you might extend a little bit more, but I'm always finding this little lift through the pelvic floor, right? Your front knee can absolutely stay bent. Your back knee can absolutely stay bent. And then just like we did in pigeon pose, press your back toes into the floor, lift your back knee up and turn it a little bit more towards the midline. Squeeze the inner legs together, right? And then this might be your Hanumanasana today. We will activate a little bit more through the back bend. Pull your little navel in, lean forward just a little bit, and then pull the shoulders back so you can find a little more expression for the heart. Now, if your back leg is pretty much down, you can point the back foot and press the top of your foot into the floor. Good. All right. Lift through the sides of your waist. Take one more breath. Now keep pressing your feet down. Press through your hands to find a little bit more space and lift, right? You can come back, shift the hips forward, place your hands down, and then step back into downward facing dog. Woo! Let's do the second side. Take your left leg up. As you exhale, take the left foot up between your hands. Put your back knee down. If you're far away from the front of your mat, take this moment to walk your front foot forward. So while you still have lots of support, right? We don't want to move the front foot when we're deeper into the pose because, we don't want to like tweak the hamstring, right? When there's a lot of pressure across it. Start by flexing your front foot, spread the sole of the foot and pull the heel in to activate the hamstring and pull the left hip back. Walk your blocks back so they're more underneath your shoulders. And then from here, curl the back toes under and start to slowly, little bit by little bit, walk the back knee back. And then as you do, lift your torso up, right? So we're not doing Ardha Hanumanasana, full Hanumanasana, right? And then again, walk the back toes back. So we only move the leg back as much as we can sustain our body weight with a little buoyancy, right? Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. And then lean forward a little bit with your torso. Gather the core in, roll the shoulders up and back and down, and then pull the heart more forward and up. So there's that little back bend element there. Press the back toes down, move the back knee a little bit closer to the midline. 2 more breaths. Squeeze through your inner thighs, press strongly through your hands, lift yourself up to find a little bit more space out of the pose, and then go ahead and step back, downward facing dog. Om mama mama. Make whatever noise you need to make. Okay, and then lower your knees down. Come to sit on your bum. Take the right shin forward, the left shin out to the side. You're gonna do a little yummy hip opening here. So keep the right hip down, walk your hands forward over your bent leg, and then play a little bit. So do you like walking your hands more towards the toes? What feels like yummier in your own hip? And then you always have the option here of taking your left leg back, as long as you can keep your right hip down. So forward folding pigeon this time. And we're gonna be here for like a minute. So let your body get heavy, soften your face and your eyes. And take one more slow, deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. All right. And then lean into your right hip. If your back leg is back, go ahead and let's bring the left shin forward. Place it in front of your right shin so you're seated. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, twist open to the right. Widen the elbows. As you inhale, lift. As you exhale, twist. Inhale in. And exhale, twist. Inhale, come back to center. Lean into your left hip this time. Take the right shin out to the side. Bring your chest forward over your front knee. And then again, play like what feels like the best stretch for you. Is it keeping your torso over your knee, moving it to the middle of your shin, moving it towards your toes? Like it'll all access different pieces. And then when you're ready, you can take the right leg back. And again, we're going to stay here for a minute. With every exhale, invite a layer of tension in your body to dissolve. Bring your attention through your body and see if you can find any little pockets of tension you don't need. The tongue, your neck, the muscles behind your eyes. One more slow, deep breath. And then let it go. Lean into your left hip as you walk your hands back, and then take your back shin, your right shin forward across your left thigh. So we're sitting in Sukhasana. Inhale, lift the arms up. As you exhale, twist to the left. As you inhale, find more length. As you exhale, revolve. Inhale, lift. Exhale, revolve. Good. Inhale, come on back to center. Option one, the right shin is forward. You could forward fold right from here. Option two, stack the shins, Agni Stambhasana. right? And it's okay if the knees don't match, or if it's not quite exact. You can sort of play with that. Lift your chest up. And if neither of those are working for you, if you feel like, oh, I really can't get into this, just come onto your back, thread the needle. Very similar shape. Inhale, lift, and exhale, forward fold. And invite all the sensations in. There's a beautiful Rumi poem, and I hope I'm not totally mangling this, but about a guest house. It's like we invite all of the guests in and welcome them all. Like the guests being, feelings, sensations, experiences. One of my teachers says emotional intensity helps us to lean more into our own aliveness. So we've been taught that we're supposed to seek all of the happy, pleasant experiences. It's kind of what we've been told, mostly because someone wants to sell us something to make us happier. But as a spiritual practice, we can choose to experience all sensations and experiences as an opportunity to feel more alive, so that our connection to our aliveness is actually what's more important than the positive feelings that we may associate with, pleasance and like those lighter feelings. Take 2 more breaths on this side. After your next exhale, slowly come on back up, lean back, bring your feet to the floor for a moment, press the heels down, fingers point towards your hips, push the heels into the floor, and then drag them toward your bum. A nice little engagement for the hamstrings and the backs of your legs. And then lower the hips down. And then we'll take the other side. So the left shin in front or the left shin on top. And take a nice breath. Thread the needle is also an option. And then hinge forward. And seeking happiness is not a bad goal or peace or contentment or satisfaction. Those can all be very beautiful things. But I think it's perhaps a more refined spiritual goal to invite all of the feelings in, so that our intention is to feel the wholeness of our humanity, not just certain parts of it. And he says we can thank those people who bring up those feelings, or thank those experiences that can bring up those feelings in us, because we can use it to feel present and to tap in. So just like the sensations of our hips, perhaps in this pose, aren't always the easiest or the most easeful, and yet they bring us more into this moment. Take another deep breath. And slowly start to make your way out of this pose. Again, bring the hands back behind you, extend the legs, give them a little shake. Dig the heels into the mat, fingertips forward, press the heels down, lift your pelvis up. Oh. And then exhale, lower the hips down. Bringing your hands underneath your knees, curl the tailbone under. So with hands or without, you can float them if you like. Slowly begin to roll down through your spine. Oh, and then happy baby or any other pose that would feel good to you and to your body. And when you're ready, Shavasana. Yeah, and just let your toes turn in and out a couple of times. If your back is feeling sensitive at all, it could be nice to put a blanket or bolster under your knees. Yeah, but as you kind of just wiggle the toes a little, feel the pelvis, the hips. They've done so much work today. Let them relax. Yeah, just create a little space. Let your ribs melt into the floor. Allow your shoulders to melt into the floor. Maybe press the elbows down just a little. Lift the heart just a little. Tuck the shoulders underneath you so that all that beautiful space that you created can be here in this final pose as well. And now let your head rest on the earth. Allow your face to soften, your eyes to soften. And just let your whole body melt into the floor. And slowly start to deepen your breath. Move your fingers and your toes. If it feels good, take a big stretch. Yawn, sigh. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big, yummy squeeze. So just like you could gather all the love in your body and just pour it into yourself. Give yourself a hug. Roll over onto one side. And press your hands down and nice and easy. Make your way up to sit. Bring your left hand over your beautiful heart and your right hand over your left. Bow your head down to yourself. And practicing a moment of radical self-love, where we create space for everything that we are, all of the wonderful things about us, all of the funky, wild, crazy things about us. There's all of it. There's space and room for all of it. All of it is welcome here. All the feelings. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, and then bring your hands into Anjali Mudra with the thumbs at your sternum. And when we practice Anjali Mudra and the hands come together, this is like a little reminder of tapping into our own light, which is the wisdom and the presence that lies within each of us to hold our human experience with grace and love. And bring the thumbs to your forehead for clarity of the mind. Your thumbs to your lips for clarity and our expression. And the thumbs back to the heart to reconnect with this light within and to bring this with us as we move into the rest of our day. Namaste. So beautiful to practice with you all today. Oh my gosh, I hope your hips feel awesome and see you into the weekend.
Thank you so much, Rachel. You better hurry on.
Yeah, I gotta hurry.
Thank you, Rachel.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks
Yeah,
so
if you have
much.
questions about the practice or anything, just send me an email or hold them for our meeting or next week or 2 weeks from now. Otherwise, everybody have a good week off, and then I'll see you after that.
Thank you, Rachel. Have a safe trip.
Bye.
Have a
Thank
good trip.
you.
Bye.